Welcome to Diversity Dish, where we're dishing on everything diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice related. My name is Sedruola Maruska, and we're bridging the gap between what needs to be said and what needs to be heard. Those individual experiences that are often ignored or just simply dismissed. Sometimes I'm dining alone, sometimes I'm dining with friends, and sometimes I'm dining a-la-carte. No matter how I'm dining, it promises to be delicious. Let's dig in. Hi, before we get into our episode, I want to take a moment and send a shout out to my patrons over at Patreon. Those people who are actively supporting me on a monthly basis as I share information on how to be a better ally, anti-racist, and co-conspirator. I share exclusive video, audio, and podcast episodes there, along with articles and workshops. I'd love for you to come over and be part of my community. We're at patreon.com/Sedruola Maruska. That's SEDRUOLA Maruska. Now let's get into our episode.
So today we're talking to Ms. Jennifer Rottmann. Hey Jen, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am so excited to have you on today.
I'm super excited to be here.
Great.
I always love talking to you.
Oh, you too. But before I get into everything, I want to read everyone your bio so that they know exactly who you are. Jen Rottmann is a content creator and coach who helps women connect to their personal brand voice so they can stand out, attract their raving fan community, be aligned with purpose, and enjoy the process in flow by speaking with authenticity, passion, and power. In her work, Jen uses a combination of feminine archetype tools, spiritual mindset practices, and working on the art of creative communication. I love it. How are you, my friend?
I am so well. Thank you.
Good.
And I'm so excited to talk to you. I always love our conversations. So
I do excited. Too. And so it was so exciting when you decided that you would be on the show and be a launch partner. So that's so exciting to me.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for including me and having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, Jen, for this episode, I usually like to ask one question of my guests so that my listeners can partake of their knowledge in this area. One question I would like to ask you is this. Share one piece of advice you have for someone who came to you wanting to learn how to market their talents to the world.
I mean, for me, the bigger thing is really what I kind of like live and breathe and teach, which is like, know, love and trust yourself, which I know is like a big answer, but we can like kind of break that down into a small practical step depending on the person I speak to. I try and just give people something practical within themselves. I think when I'm talking to someone that I would give advice to, I always say to them, I'm like, I'll ask them questions about themselves. And this is, again, why I love using feminine archetypes, for example, because it helps us understand ourselves so much better in like, once we kind of figure out like, what's your dominant feminine archetype, I always say it kind of becomes like your North Star, something that you can always use. Mm-hmm. Do you mean, or I ask people like, what are your passions? What are your strengths? What are your personality traits? Because again, I think there's so many, especially women that have such, do you mean like, especially the feminine traits that often they have, but are not, they don't see them as strength. Like if I'm somebody that's very caring for other people, often people don't think that's a strength because that's not what you put on a CV. Do you know what I mean? And it's not what people think of as being really successful. And I love being able to help people see, like almost be like a mirror to people, like help them uncover like what is truly beautiful about them, like what are really, what makes them so unique, and then help them see how in creative ways and practical ways they can actually use that. Like, for example, someone that's a very nurturing, type of person, if you're wanting to market yourself, something like Facebook groups might be a really great way to go about it because that uses your natural talent, right? Like your natural talent of wanting to build relationships, take care of people, like almost you can be like the mother hen. Exactly.
If
that's the type of Yeah, and like then somebody else, like, you know, if I'm a very creative person, so that's why I love creating content so much, or like taking, you know, pictures, or writing poems. So I always, again, I use myself as an example sometimes as well, and so people can just go within themselves and look what is really unique about me. Because the thing is, what I see so much happening, especially around marketing, everyone's trying to compete, and do you mean the more people come into the internet world, the louder? That's why everyone thinks it's so noisy, right? Because
it is.
Everyone's trying to like yell and be like, I'm the best, and I'm the best, and then we're just competing rather than really focusing on like going inward and going, okay, there's something incredible, unique about me. Nobody, you know, we have all a unique DNA. We all have a unique upbringing, and I really truly believe every single person has something that they can serve and share with the world, that if they don't do it, the world's not going to get it. And if we can, you know, become more still, right? Like, and kind of shut out the outside world sometimes and just have that time to go inwards, we can really see that beauty, and we can start to, again, that's why I always say like that process of really getting to know yourself, to love yourself as well. Because most of us have, especially again, as women, been conditioned that we're not good enough, we're not beautiful enough, we don't fit certain boxes. And when we can start seeing that for ourselves, that's when we can actually go and share it with the world. So that's always, and again, like I said, I know it's always a difficult question to answer when I'm not speaking to someone specifically. Yeah. But if I have somebody in front of me, I can like really ask specific questions to that person and always bring out some more information that they feel good about themselves. And I think that's really the most important place to kind of start.
I think that's amazing because, like you said, we don't spend enough time within ourselves understanding who we are and what we have to offer. We look outside and we go, well, they're doing it that way and they're doing it that way. Oh, and that's really cool how they're doing it. How can I do it like them? Instead of saying, well, how can I do it like me? How can I bring my essence to what it is that I'm doing and find something that I really love and go with that, right? So I really love that. And I think our listeners are going to gain a lot of value from that as well. Thank you so much for that information, Jennifer. I look forward to having you back on the show again to share more of your amazing knowledge with us.
Awesome. I'd love to be back.
Great.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed that episode, please download, rate, and share this podcast. Also, don't forget to come by patreon.com/Sedruola Maruska and be part of the community. Look forward to seeing you next time.